Hello, welcome back to my channel, Books with AR. Wang Lin's eyes were extremely cold after crushing the strand of hair containing an almost undetectable amount of the woman's divine sense. Her divine sense was hidden very well. If it wasn't for the fact that he had already been paying attention to Xu Fei, it would have easily avoided his detection if he had been negligent for even a moment. The Corpse Sect spells are indeed astonishing, and spells to hide divine sense are always difficult. It looks like I have to be more careful in the future. That woman, Xu Fei, was able to send out her divine sense, meaning she is the real body. That means Zhou Yi Xuan is the corpse puppet. Wang Lin began to ponder. The reason he was able to identify Xu Fei was due to Sun Tai, the slave Zhou Yi forced on him back then. Sun Tai had a corpse puppet that was only a child, but it was extremely intelligent and had a high cultivation level. Their relationship was also very unique. It wasn't a simple corpse puppet, but more like they were two individuals. Thinking about Sun Tai's corpse puppet, Wang Lin couldn't help but think of Situ Nan. He ended up taking over that child's flesh. I don't know where C2 is now, but he must be on some cultivation planet, living his life as a king among mortals. There was a hint of reminiscence in his eyes. At this moment, he was no longer the fiend, but a mortal, recalling his friend. There was also Sun Tai. He was the head elder of the Corpse Sect on planet Suzaku. He was thrown into space by the giant demon clan ancestors' bloodline power. His current whereabouts are unknown. Wang Lin took a deep breath as he collected his thoughts. His eyes lit up as he looked at the branching cracks surrounding him. He couldn't feel the senior Zhou Yi's aura anywhere, so he had to search them one by one himself. Senior Zhou Yi was sealed here by Ling Tianhou, so the crack with the seal must have Ling Tianhou's aura. Wang Lin's eyes narrowed as his divine sense spread out to check the cracks around him. After a short period of time, Wang Lin frowned. He checked all the surrounding cracks but found no trace of Zhou Yi. Wang Lin's expression was gloomy as he slapped his bag of holding and took out the crystal Beilu gave him. Wang Lin's divine sense entered the crystal. Shortly after, his eyebrows knitted even tighter and he withdrew his divine sense from the crystal. If Beilu didn't lie to me, then this was where he found Zhou Yi. Wang Lin began to ponder. Beilu shouldn't have lied to me about this, as it is completely irrelevant to him. There was no reason for him to do something as pointless as this. If he wanted to act against me, there was no reason to use such an underhanded method. He could have just attacked me directly. Right now, the most important thing to him is to devour the other ancient demons. Unless he deceived me to come here to kill me with a borrowed knife. Wang Lin's eyes became cold, and his divine sense swept the area again. Then he shook his head. If he had said that Zhou Yi was at the bottom of the tide abyss, it would be possible that he wanted to kill me with a borrowed knife, but this place looks very ordinary. As Wang Lin pondered, he spread out his divine sense. This time he was even more careful as he searched through every crack, but the result was still the same. Wang Lin pondered. After several breaths of time, he slapped his bag of holding and the soul flag came out. With a wave, 1,000 powerful soul fragments came out. Wang Lin controlled the soul fragments to enter every crack. Wang Lin closed his eyes, and his divine sense entered each soul fragment. This way, it was as if he was inside the cracks himself, and he thoroughly searched each crack. This time, he was even more thorough. He didn't let any trace slip by him. After 30 minutes, all the soul fragments flew back. Wang Lin opened his eyes, and his expression became very ugly. I carefully checked all the surrounding cracks, but I still haven't found Zhou Yi's presence. Could that ancient demon Beilu really have cheated me on this? Wang Lin waved his sleeves, and his eyes became cold. But his eyes suddenly narrowed. Wrong. If I were Ling Tianhou, I wouldn't seal someone in such an obvious place. If I were Ling Tianhou, Wang Lin began to ponder. The one strand of Ling Tianhou's sword energy he had left moved through his body, allowing him to borrow a sliver of Ling Tianhou's domain. The pondering expression in Wang Lin's eyes gradually disappeared and were replaced with a tyrannical gaze. Ling Tianhou's domain was tyranny, to use his own tyrannical nature to go against the heavens and make his own path. The sword energy moved through Wang Lin's body, and the tyrannical gaze became even stronger. If I wanted to seal a sword spirit that was haunting me, I wouldn't simply seal him, I'd make him yield to my tyranny. If he didn't yield, I'd seal him for 1,000 years. If he still didn't yield, I'd seal him for 10,000 years. If he still didn't yield, I'd destroy his spirit to refine it into a treasure to make him yield. I won't choose these obvious places. If I were to choose this place, it must have a reason. If I were to seal it, I would choose. The tyrannical gaze was powerful, as if he was above the world. His gaze swept by each crack. The tyrannical gaze in his eyes gradually disappeared, and large drops of sweat fell from his forehead. At the moment, the tyrannical gaze was completely disappeared from Wang Lin's body, and his face was pale. The domain inside Ling Tianhou's sword energy was simply too tyrannical. Simply trying to borrow this sliver of domain almost injured me. Wang Lin took a deep breath as celestial spiritual energy cycled through his body. He slapped his bag of holding, and the celestial sword flew out with the half-moon blade. Wang Lin's right hand grabbed the celestial sword and then took a step forward. He suddenly turned with the celestial sword, releasing sword energy. A vortex of sword energy formed with Wang Lin as the center. Break! With a roar, Wang Lin suddenly stopped. At this instant, the sword vortex suddenly shattered, and the sword energy shot out in all directions. Countless cracks appeared near the gaps in the sides of the cliff. The crackling sounds continued, and soon, cracks covered over 1,000 feet up and down the cliff. Crack! Wang Lin's voice was like thunder as it rumbled through the tide abyss. More cracks appeared on the cliff, and a large amount of soil fell off the sides of the cliff. The side of the tide abyss lost an inch after being swept by Wang Lin's sword energy. Wang Lin's eyes lit up, and he used the sword energy again. The sword energy was sent out again, and as he continued, the cliff quickly got shaved away. After 15 minutes, a small opening appeared, and a very faint aura came out from the opening. This aura didn't belong to Zhou Yi, but it contained extreme tyranny. Wang Lin's right hand formed a seal and pointed at the gap. The celestial sword flew toward that gap with the half-moon blade close behind it. Large amounts of broken rocks fell from the cliff. In the blink of an eye, a crack hidden 30 feet inside the cliff appeared before Wang Lin. This gap wasn't large. It was only 5 feet tall and was pitch black. The moment Wang Lin's divine sense attempted to enter it, it was knocked back by a tyrannical divine sense. This caused Wang Lin's body to fly back, and he smashed into the cliff on the other side. There was a loud bang as rocks fell from the cliff, and Wang Lin's body was imprinted into the side of the cliff. Blood surged inside his body and leaked out from the corner of his mouth. Wang Lin took a deep breath, and his eyes became cold. Then he moved his body and flew out of the cliff. This movement caused his face to become even more pale. The collision of divine sense just now almost caused his origin soul to collapse. If he hadn't reached the ascendant stage, then that simple collision would have been enough to shatter his origin soul. How powerful! Wang Lin stared at the gap. Although he didn't know how deep it went, he was confident that Zhou Yi was inside there, because the divine sense that collided with his belonged to only one person, Ling Tianhou. Merely a sliver of the divine sense he left behind is enough to kill cultivators below the ascendant stage. Just exactly what cultivation level is Ling Tianhou? The peak of late-stage ascendant is the end of the first step. Only by passing the trial of the yin and yang stage can a cultivator enter the second step, the 3 realms of nirvana. The 3 realms of nirvana are Nirvana Scryer, Nirvana Cleaner, and Nirvana Shatterer. Each realm then split into early, mid, late, and peak stages. The All-Seer said that he was at the end of the second step. I calculate that he is at the early stage of Nirvana Shatterer. Ling Tianhou and the All-Seer have been rivals for tens of thousands of years, so their cultivation levels can't be too far apart. He should be at the peak of Nirvana Cleaner. Wang Lin's eyes revealed a hint of dedication. Compared to the All-Seer and Ling Tianhou, his cultivation was simply too insignificant. He hadn't even reached the peak of the first step. But Wang Lin was persistent. Ever since he stepped into the cultivation world as a boy, he relied only on himself almost the whole way and now had become an ascendant powerhouse. Although an ascendant powerhouse was a mere ant in the eyes of those in the second step, among the cultivators of the first step, an ascendant cultivator was still a powerful force to be reckoned with. Wang Lin took a deep breath and pointed at his forehead. 100,000 strands of slaughter energy appeared and turned into life seals that surrounded his body. To be more accurate, it was missing a strand. Wang Lin took his strand and fused it with his soul. As a result, he can make it so that these life seals would never be destroyed unless the last strand inside his origin soul was broken as well. He slapped his bag of holding, and the devil armor appeared and circled around him as strands of black gas. It slowly turned into an armor, and a devilish aura shrouded his body. More than 100 golden symbols surrounded by insects floated around Wang Lin, providing another layer of protection. After doing all of this, Wang Lin pondered a bit and then took out the 1 billion soul flag. He waved the flag and it warped around him. More than 100 million soul fragments roared inside the flag. Wang Lin revealed a decisive gaze as he stepped forward and charged toward that gap.